Great. Well, welcome everybody, and thank you for being here tonight. The first extreme winter weather storm of the year will technically really arrive later tonight. Temperatures have been in the 20s all day, but it's been feeling like somewhere in the teens as we've gone through the day, and it's only going to get colder. A key message that I want everyone to hear is stay indoors if at all possible. Stay indoors if at all possible until we get through this winter event. The National Weather Service is now predicting a higher chance of precipitation like freezing rain and sleet in our area starting tonight, and that will continue tomorrow, creating some additional safety concerns. We have activated the joint Austin-Travis County Emergency Operations Center to be ready for what else this freeze might bring us. For example, with freezing drizzle and freezing rain, we could experience significant effects on bridges and elevated roadways. I'll say one other thing. When we have freezing drizzle, it's sometimes harder for us to appreciate how much there is as opposed to when we have freezing rain. With this, we could experience the significant effects that I just talked about on things that are elevated. Regular roadway conditions could also become slick if temperatures continue to drop and that precipitation continues to fall on those roads. I've been assured that TxDOT and our city crews have pre-treated certain roads and some of our bridges ahead of this storm, as we indicated the last couple of days when we had our press briefing. We're also focused on our most vulnerable populations. Last night in our cold weather overnight shelters, we welcomed over 200 people, and we're prepared to assist more people during this storm. Now, if you don't already know, ERCOT just issued a conservation request for tomorrow morning from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Remember, while we have Austin Energy and we own our own electric utility, we are part of the statewide grid, and ERCOT operates that grid. So ERCOT, I want to say it again, has just issued a conservation request for tomorrow morning from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. As the temperatures fall, you can save energy and still stay warm by a couple of things. One, you can lower thermostats by a few degrees. Two, if you have a fireplace, use it and it will help heat your home, and do that instead of turning up the thermostat. When your fireplace isn't in use though, I want you to please make sure that your fireplace damper is closed so that you'll prevent heat from escaping up through the chimney. Keep your doors and windows closed so that you're also minimizing hot air escaping from your home. Next, open the curtains and the shades on the sunny side of your home so that you let direct sunlight into the house for warmth. Close shades that don't have direct sunlight so that you retain the warmth. You can switch the setting on your ceiling fans so that they run clockwise at a low speed. And don't use the oven to heat your home. Don't use the oven to heat your home. You can find more conservation tips at austinenergy.com/winter. austinenergy.com/winter. And we are asking, because ERCOT is asking, that we try to conserve energy tomorrow morning between 6 and 10. If the past several years have shown us anything, it's that it's now more likely than ever that we're going to get severe winter weather in Central Texas. We should all be prepared to weather the storm. Remember, we need to protect people, pets, pipes, and plants. Please check on your neighbors. especially the elderly and those that you know are vulnerable. If you haven't already done it, now is the time to check and assemble an emergency supply kit. Check your flashlights, charge devices and external power sources, and sign up for outage text alerts at outagemap.austinenergy.com. outagemap.austinenergy.com. Please remember to bookmark and check austintexas.gov/alerts. austintexas.gov/alerts, and tune into the local news stations for the most up-to-date information. Finally, it's really very, very important that you sign up to get emergency alerts by phone, text, or email. You can do that at warncentraltexas.org. warncentraltexas.org. And I'm going to reiterate, please stay indoors if at all possible until we're through with this severe winter event. With that, I'm going to turn the podium over to my colleague, Judge Andy Brown of Travis County.
Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you.
All right, so with that, ERCOT warning is from 6 to 10. Should be welcome news to the college students of the area who can just go ahead and sleep until 10 o'clock tomorrow, as it is Martin Luther King Day, and there aren't classes most places. So I'm County Judge Andy Brown. Thanks y'all for being here today. I want to thank Mayor Watson and the emergency management teams of the city and Travis County for preparing and coordinating county and city response efforts as we continue to receive updates. The frigid temperatures are here, and it's expected to stay this cold for the next few days. The National Weather Service has issued a winter weather advisory that as of right now is in effect until noon tomorrow, which is Monday, January 15th around noon. That means we might see some freezing rain and possibly some sleet overnight into tomorrow. Travis County's Office of Emergency Management continues to coordinate the readiness and response efforts of all of our Travis County departments, as well as communicating with 21 cities, towns, and villages across Travis County. Travis County's transportation and natural resources staff have been pre-treating county roads where needed, and we're monitoring road conditions throughout the night tonight. We're ready to respond to clear the roads and help make them safer, especially for our first responders, but that, again, depends on everybody else staying home unless you really need to get out. Stay off the roads, help us keep things safe for everybody. If you must go somewhere, know that there could be icy spots and black ice on roadways, especially on bridges or elevated roads. So if you're out, go really slowly, please, and give yourself a lot of distance to hit the brakes. Slow down, have space between you and the car in the front of you. It'll be a good idea also to check your car, make sure everything's working well, from tire pressure to making sure you have an emergency kit in your car if you go out. In that kit in your car, you could include things like an ice scraper, sand, or cat litter, in case you, I guess, get stuck in one of these icy patches, first aid kit, flashlight with batteries, and blankets, water, and a snack. Again, we're asking you from the county and from the city, as you just heard, to stay home if you can, stay off the roads. But if you have to go out somewhere, remember to dress in layers and wear a hat, scarf, and gloves to prevent hypothermia and frostbite. The mayor went over the 4 Ps. Y'all can probably recite them by now, but it's people, pets, pipes, and plants. Make sure that those things at your house are safe. Buenas tardes, soy el juez del condado de Travis County, Andy Brown. Las temperaturas de congelamiento han llegado y se espera que permanezcan así durante los próximos días. Eso significa que podríamos ver algo de lluvia congelante y posiblemente aguanieve durante la noche y hasta mañana. Para nuestros residentes del condado de Travis, por favor, quédense en casa si pueden. Eviten las carreteras y manténganse seguros. Dejen las carreteras despejadas para nuestro personal de emergencia. Si se aventura a salir, vístase con ropa cálida sin capas. Protégese la cabeza, manos, cuello, cara y orejas. Y recuerda las 4 cosas principales en tu casa. Proteja a su gente, sus mascotas, sus tuberías bajo de su casa y sus plantas. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much, and I'll pass it over to Ken Snipes.
Thank you, Judge Brown.
Excuse me.
My name is Ken Snipes, Director of Austin's Homeland Security and Emergency Management Office. And the Arctic blast of air that we've been talking about for quite a few days now is here. As a result, we have activated our Emergency Operations Center. What this means is that our Homeland Security and Emergency Management staff, along with Travis County Office of Emergency Management, Travis County Transportation and Natural Resources, Travis County Sheriff's Office, and representatives from Austin Transportation and Public Works, Human Resources, Police, Fire, EMS, Cap Metro, Public Health, Parks and Recreation, Austin Libraries, the Homeless Strategy Office are all here and ready to respond, as well as others as needed. Right now, we are focusing on monitoring for weather impacts. Our priority is to ensure the safety of everyone in our community, especially our most vulnerable. We are ensuring the major roadways have been treated for continued access to hospitals for our emergency responders. TxDOT, as well as our city staff, have treated many of our roads in our areas, including Burleson Road at FM 973, Slaughter Lane at Brant Road, South First Street at Lady Bird Lake, Congress Avenue at Lady Bird Lake, Breaker Lane at Mopac, and Loop 360 at Mopac. Additionally, crews are working to treat additional roads as well. We have also started shelter services. Anyone needed a warm place to stay for the night should go to One Texas Center at 505 Barton Springs Road between the hours of 5 p.m. and 8 a.m. to register to be transported to a shelter. Anyone needing transportation to a shelter after 8 p.m. can call 311 to request assistance. We are operating these shelters 24 hours a day through at least Tuesday and possibly longer if needed. Due to the MLK holiday, most city facilities are closed tomorrow. We will be operating our warming centers open, including Little Walnut Creek, Ruiz Branch, and Terrazas Branch between the hours of 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. Up-to-date details on locations and other emergency information can be found at austintexas.gov/alerts, and that information is available in 14 different languages. Bitterly cold temperatures and wind chills, again, are now here as a significant front is sweeping through our area. These cold conditions are expected to last through midweek. If you have not already taken steps to again protect people, pets, plants, and pipes, please do so now. Take precautions if you go outdoors. Temperatures and wind chills are low enough to make hypothermia and frostbite a real threat. Prolonged exposure to very cold temperatures can cause hypothermia. Warning signs of hypothermia include confusion, shivering, difficulty speaking, sleepiness and difficult and stiff muscles. Please ensure you have provisions for your home and families. Gather supplies for your emergency kits now. Please be sensible about your needs and what to purchase. Buy non-perishable food items if your supplies are low. We recommend, as always, a 7-day supply of food and water. Make sure you have flashlights, batteries, and warm blankets in your home. And if there are no questions for me, I'll turn it back over to Mayor Watson.
Thank you. I want to also introduce Eric Carter, who is the Director of Emergency Management for Travis County and a real partner in what we're doing. He's here also to be able to answer questions that you might have. One other thing that I want to mention before we open up for questions is that because tomorrow is a holiday, Capital Metro was planning on having like Saturday service. Because of what's going on and the chance for precipitation, they will have a late start at night. The start will be at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. So people that are trying to make plans in that regard, we want to make sure that that information is out as well. With that, we will answer questions, and the last thing I'll say is again, please stay indoors if you can. Please stay indoors if you can. With that, let's open it up for questions. Yes, sir.
Do you know the likelihood that we will have to have some sort of rolling blackouts in the area?
But what I would say is that we probably shouldn't have that because ERCOT is indicating that it has enough reserves, but even with that, it is asking that we take on conservation measures, as I've indicated, from 6 to 10 in the morning. That ought to help us make sure that we don't have to face anything like that. The reserves look good, is what I would say, but we need to take the precautions that ERCOT is asking us to take. The other thing that I would add is that if something like that, and we've said this in the past, and I'll say it again, if that happens, it is a decision that is made by ERCOT. And Austin Energy and the city of Austin have to follow and comply with the decision that ERCOT makes under those circumstances. What the city attempts to do under those circumstances is to roll those selected outages so that no one area of town feels the brunt more than others. And that's typically the effort that goes into that is to try to keep it at no more than 40 minutes. But I don't want to get ahead of myself in answering your question. I just want to give you that information. ERCOT is not indicating that right now, but ERCOT is asking us to conserve tomorrow morning. And so we should do that so that we can try to avoid anything of that nature. And if decisions are made for there to be some form of rolling outage, those decisions are made by ERCOT and we're required to follow them.
And then Austin Energy will send out an notification.
Oh, no, we'll spend a lot, we're one of the key parts of our efforts. And if you have seen anything different this year from what you may have witnessed last year, it is that we are working very hard to provide information in advance, and that sort of information will be provided in advance. So I appreciate the opportunity to get to emphasize again how much effort we're trying to put into making sure people have information. I think I saw a short hand. Yeah.
Yeah, so what has the city learned from past storms and maybe missed opportunities?
Well, we just started part of that. One is communication, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask I'm going to say relatively new director of Homeland Security and Emergency Management. Ken Snipes came on in that role. He came on in that role this year, and a part of what he was charged with was to do what you just suggested in the question. Learn from past mistakes, learn from missed opportunities, and learn what best practices might be. And a lot of that has been instituted over the past year to get us to this point. As I bring him up to give some examples of that and talk a little bit about it, I do want to say though, and I want to emphasize, that in these weather events, there will be things that are unanticipated. There will be things that even the best laid plans can't prevent. And as in answer to the previous question, there are things that we're not in control of from time to time. That's one of the reasons we emphasize so strongly preparedness. We're doing everything we can to make sure we're prepared for those things that we can control, and we want people to have the information so that they can also prepare, so that if something does happen, we mitigate the circumstances of that. But with that, let me turn it over to Ken.
Thank you, Mayor Watson. To answer that question, I think it's important to remember kind of where we started. So as the mayor indicated, one of the things that we wanted to do was look back at issues from the past and kind of consolidate some of those. So what we've done, working with our partners from Travis County, the City of Austin Homeland Security Emergency Management Office has taken a comprehensive look at the storms that we've had from 2021 and the storm from this year. Some of the things that we've really focused on is early messaging, getting messaging out early, communicating often, and making sure that people know how to prepare in their homes, what readiness looks like, and what they should be thinking about as they put their readiness kits together and put their plans together. We're also looking to our neighbors to the northern states that deal with this type of weather on a regular basis. As climate continues to change and we're starting to see the impacts of that area, we're having these storms much more often than in the past. We're putting together all the knowledge that we can into a comprehensive response package. We're activating a little bit earlier now than we might have in the past, just to make sure we're taking a leaning forward or forward-leaning posture as we start to get ready for these types of events. So I would say the main things to take away from this is readiness and just making sure that we're paying attention to the things that we're asking people to do. And please take the time to sign up at warrencentraltexas.org.
Why don't we take one more question? Somebody have anything?
Last year, I know highways were closed for a period of time because the conditions got so bad. Do you foresee that happening this time around?
You know, as I said in my opening comments, because there's precipitation and the potential for freezing drizzle starting in the next couple of hours and going forward for a little while, we're anticipating that bridges, overpasses, those sorts of things may have some freezing conditions. I've been assured, as I indicated, that TxDOT and City of Austin crews, and you just heard the judge indicate that Travis County crews have been out trying to pre-treat roads. Again, the preparedness that Mr. Snipes talks about to pre-treat roads. The hope is that what happens is, because it's freezing drizzle, I say the hope, what is anticipated, I think, is that while you can have some freezing conditions, what is that it will dissipate after the sun comes up and the weather conditions will allow for that to dissipate, hopefully fairly quickly. But that is also why we emphasize, and I've now said it, I think 3 times, and I know the judge said it twice, I think I counted. So we're now at least up to 6, and if we're not, I'll say it over and over again. Stay inside if at all possible. If you don't have a reason to be out, enjoy the holiday, but do that inside and don't be out on the roads because we want everybody to be safe, and we can't anticipate everything that might happen in that regard. Judge, you want to say anything in closing?
Just thanks you all very much for covering this tonight. It's extremely important to make sure that our emergency crews can do what they need to do. So if you can, stay home, like the mayor said. And thanks to the press who's here for covering this important message. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, and I'll wind it up by saying, okay, you got it? I want to again refer everybody to austintexas.gov/alerts, austintexas.gov/alerts, and warncentraltexas.org. That's a good way for you to stay prepared, but stay indoors if at all possible. Thank you all very much for being here. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.